Welcome to the World United. Welcome to the World United.
The panel discussion topic is going to be integration of various spiritual schools of thought, possibility of integration of various spiritual schools of thought. So this is the panel discussion today on day one. So our presenters, speakers are going to be Harrison Klein, Star Johnson, and Amelia Aeon Karris. So in the present world, as we know, the diverse spiritual schools of thought since time immemorial, many a time have been building a lot of energy about their own systems, about the faith and belief system that they have created. And subconsciously, when it goes to the level of followers, it has become more fundamentalistic. As is religious fundamentalism, so is spiritual fundamentalism as well. And herewith, I have a question for you, Star. How this so-called spiritual fundamentalism, or what I call an expression of fractured consciousness, an expression of a segmentalized consciousness, can be brought into one and make them really awaken. How we move from spiritual fundamentalism to spiritual awakening? That is a question for you, Star. Unmute, please. Star, unmute, please.
You're muted.
Star, you have to unmute, please. Can you hear me?
Okay, here, yes. Okay,
Yes.
You can hear me now? Okay.
Perfect.
Well, for me, as you know, I've spent my life looking at many different disciplines, and people can look at the differences between the disciplines, or people can look at the similarities. And it has given me so much joy to look at the similarities, because ultimately everybody's saying the same thing. You know, in different ways, different cultural interpretations. But to me, all the paths lead to the same place, which is back to the oneness. And we all emerged from the oneness to have the experience of separation. And now we're remembering the oneness, and we're going back into the oneness. So if we spend our energy focused on the oneness instead of the differences, I think that is a great discipline for us, and a great illumination. I can't hear you.
Unmute.
Okay. So the commonness that we all have need to be elevated to understanding the sameness among all of us. And the sameness certainly culminates into oneness. So
Yes.
the convergence of commonness, the convergence of sameness finally has to end up in oneness, where we are one. And thank you very much, Star.
Well, you saw all the world trees, you know. We
Yeah.
all have the same beautiful energy structure, and it's just expressed in different ways. But when we go into that energy structure and experience our oneness, then we understand that it's all one.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you very much, Star. We have our
Thank you.
magnificent. Yeah. Thank you very much. We have
Thank
a
you.
magnificent grandmother Parisha. I request grandmother Parisha to continue the discussion, please. And I would like Parisha to have the wonderful wisdom of Harrison to come out of him. Over
I
to
would,
grandmother, please.
yes,
Thank you.
I would like to ask Star, with all of the studies and the magnificent sharing that you did with us was powerful. I've studied much with the Mayan people and consider Humbadsman a very close friend in the Mayan people of at least Mexico. Some of the Honduras and definitely the others are very, very powerful, but Humbadsman has kind of won my heart as he is such a playful person. But
We were together there. We were together there with Hunbats many years ago. Yeah.
Isn't he delightful? Yeah. Yes, he is.
He was. Yes.
When you are looking at the ancient ways of the Mayan and you're looking at the very, very strong intelligence and connection to the cosmos, do you feel inside the ancient teachings of our history and our evolution that there are still answers in the ancient ways and still in the ancient tablets and the particular teachings that you're following? Have you not found they're as modern as anything could possibly be when you just allow them to become round in nature and cyclic? Do you not see the answers in what you're teaching the same as what we're learning in the new technologies and the teachings of I would say, advanced spirituality and sciences?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's all the same. And, you know, there's no time.
Yeah.
And when we go to those sacred sites, anywhere on the planet where so much magnificent spiritual work and anchoring of the light has been done for generations and generations, and then we open ourselves to that wisdom. They're mystery schools, and that wisdom is all still there. We just have to elevate our vibration in order to enter those mystery schools. And that's what we have been doing at the sacred sites. As you know, we did it together. And Hunbadsman was a magnificent teacher in helping us to remember how to access that wisdom.
What would be your answer to the question today if someone comes to you and says, Star, what is the message for us in the future? Where are we going and where will we arrive? What would you tell them?
Well, we're going into the light. We're remembering who we are. And as a quantum number of people go into the light and accept the light as the medicine. The light is the medicine that we all need, you know? And the light is from the heart of the oneness and takes us back to the heart of the oneness. I feel like we came from the oneness to have this these experiences in these other dimensions, right? Including this dimension. And now we're going back. We're remembering where we came from.
Absolutely.
And we're going back there.
Yes, we are. Thank you so much, Star. And definitely.
Thank you. I love to see you again, grandmother.
So enjoyed your sharing.
Thank you, and I yours as well.
And Dr. Yugandhar, I would definitely like to speak to Anita and actually share the teachings that you shared with us, Anita, are very, very profound and very connecting to our Earth Mother. And I am so, so happy that you've joined us. And actually, I'm very, very happy to see that Dr. Yugandhar opened the first sessions of our global parliament piece, actually with the native voices and with the ancestral teachings of our people. North America has a wealth of information from ancient cultures and the beginnings of man's evolution that are still being discovered and spoken. And for you to come forward at this time and share how that fits in our modern world, connecting it to where we work, where we play, where we live in this moment, in today. You did a beautiful job of that. And I have so enjoyed your stories. I definitely want to make sure that I take the clip where you were actually speaking and share that with a whole lot of our friends and people who are saying, what is the teachings of the Mother Earth and where is the circle? And I think you have such a magnificent, beautiful, gentle, feminine way, yet powerful, deeply powerful in how you delivered it. And the answers were so clear, so beautiful. It made my heart very warm to hear all of that start and actually cultivate our beginning. So I appreciate all of you. And everything that any of you have shared, and especially Amelia, you were so very, very clear. I love how you gave us an outline to follow and that you actually showed us how to take each step and look at the good and the bad of things. You know, we forget that we're in the particular dimension of duality, okay? And we have to consider both the dark and the light. And you did such a wonderful job of showing us how to avoid the pitfalls as far and how to strengthen the particular pathway of light that we seek. And Harrison, as always, the beautiful, playful child that you are, dancing the love and beauty you always create was absolutely awesome. I am so very happy that you're in our world and that you're going strong and making sure you seed that childlike beauty and love in the world. So thank you so much for being with us too. I'd like to pose a question. Yeah, I'd like to pose a question to all of you. Who of you actually feel that at this point, if you could give us a one-line sentence of where we go from here in a world that is turbulent, upside down, and as Harrison pointed out, just really in a very heavy chaos. What do you tell us to do? Would your message be meditation or would your message be travel? What would your message be for our participants? Where would they start? Where could they actually begin? Any one of you.
Well, I believe that we all are on what we call a hero's journey, the same hero's journey that every great hero or person in the world has ever kind of gone on, is the same hero's journey that we go on internally. It all starts in the same way. It starts with a disassociation from what is negative, what is dark for ourselves, for we actually leave either an environment of home or we leave an environment of external experience. We try to then step into the navigation of what comes up once we leave our home and what we're familiar with, which is adversity. We come upon adversity, and that's what our world is right now. So we're in the level of coming into our adversity. And we're all looking at adversity as something that is happening, you know, continuously. But the hero's journey goes on beyond adversity. The hero's journey then comes into competence. So when we start to navigate adversity, we become competent at dealing with the challenges of life, whatever those challenges happen to be. And in the dealing with those challenges, we begin to make a breakthrough. And the more competent we become, the more confidence we have, the greater our attitude is about ourselves. We begin to discover in a beautiful, enormously satisfying way the growth of our next levels of being. And that story is the story of every great, human being that's ever gone through through the journey of themselves and into the, generosity of giving some great gift to the world. And we are all in that process right now. And it's a unified process. Yeah.
And I hope all of you see that our future and what we're doing with our global world parliament, that you all will support it and actually know that you are masters seeding the future for all those who will come after us. Our people look forward to the 7 generations before us as we review and follow also the wisdom of the 7 behind us. And as we all meet in this parliament, we are giving the very best that we have. Every one of us are needed. Every one of you fit the particular individual piece that must be there for us to be whole. So let us all celebrate the wonderful benefits of this day and what you've shared. As far as I can see, what we're doing is we're summing up all of our energy into the effort of having unity, and the actual consciousness that's happening as our spirituality becomes very visible to us. You've all been masters and helpful with that. So blessings always for what you have helped us and served with. We look forward to seeing you many times, many, many times. Dr. Yugandhar, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, grandmother. And I will continue where you stopped here. You have put a question. From where we are right now, where we are heading to, from the perspective of awakening, how do you see the future from where we are and how it is going to be through all of us? Amelia, it is a question for you.
Yes.
For me? Yeah. I think Dr. Anita wanted to say something to the last question. If you would like to jump in. Okay.
Oh, no, actually, she ended up, grandmother summed it up, but I was just going to say in a playful way, because we love this medium, but I think one of the things we need to do is really tune up our listening from our heart. And so we can't Google wisdom. We have to set these things aside, not give it up. I'm not giving mine up either, but set it aside so that the wisdom from inside, from listening to nature, from listening to the ancestors, 7 generations out, all of that can come to be. That's what I was going to share. Thank you.
Thank you. Wonderful. Yeah. May I have your views as well, Amelia? You are here?
Yeah. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, please. Go ahead.
Yeah. I feel one of the biggest pitfalls that we're dealing with right now is the spiritual people, the good people of the world, the ones who are truth seekers, who are humble and loving people who want good in the world, are all kind of hiding away. They've lost their voice from the amount of trauma that they've undergone, or from the bullies in the world who've gotten them to be quiet or feel outside of the general population. And I feel that these people, so I'm speaking to them, if that's you listening, please learn to master your energy. It's so critical that each one of us, especially those of us who are on the spiritual path, who have this connection to our divine source, really start bringing it forward into the world, because the only way we're going to change the circumstances we're dealing with is through our own individual nature, first harmonizing the energies inside ourselves, and then bringing it out through our work, through our words, through our service in our communities and our families. It doesn't have to be some grand mission. I mean, Dr. Yugandhar's mission, the World Parliament mission, the other speakers here, maybe their soul mission is huge, but it doesn't mean that that's everyone's soul mission. You know, a soul mission can be something quite seemingly small, but extremely powerful. It might help your family line clear the imprints of different woundings that have gone on. So I just urge each one of you, no matter how small you feel or where you're at in your journey, to get the courage to ground your light and really bring your voice forward, because we need everyone on board right now. No more hiding.
No more hiding. So we'll knock the doors of everyone and pull them out. Thank you very much, Amelia. Yes, we will do it. It's all a snowball effect. You know, the picture behind me is Chichen Itza, the pyramidal shape. Every mountain is like that. We are just trying to push the small 1 centimeter ball of snow. By the time it reaches down, it becomes avalanche. We have just begun that snowball. We have put that ball on wheels. It is moving down, and slowly it will gather so much of strength. It will become an avalanche. It will become a big tsunami. It is going to be a big hurricane, a spiritual hurricane. And this spiritual hurricane is a real spiritual renaissance, changing the critical mass, transforming the critical mass. That's what we are doing now collectively. The individual mind has to be dropped, each one of us, and feel the convergence. Yes, someone is saying?
Yeah, I just wanted to say what Dr. Anita said in her presentation, I think is one of the key elements it was for my own healing, was being able to forgive the unforgivable. This is such a deep wisdom for all of us right now. There's so many atrocities, and I think when we focus on that, we feel so stunted and we're unable to move. We have to find that deep forgiveness. So thank you for asking her to speak first, for calling in the ancestors, and for acknowledging the lands in which we're on. I'm really grateful that you brought her here and that you have Chichen Itza behind you, as I'm very close to it. Well, it doesn't look like it, but it's kind of in my backyard.
Great. Nice. Yeah. So, Anitha, there is a question for you.
Yeah.
With everyone making tall claims about their own system, their own therapies, their own activities, and when you make tall claims of one system, of course, one has to make tall claims. Otherwise, people won't listen, right? We have to make tall claims, no doubt. But despite making tall claims of one's own activities or therapies or whatever greatness that we are contributing to the world, how we also can converge or coalesce or adhere or cement all the different systems as well, so that the people, the masses who are not yet awakened, can actually understand that it is the wisdom within that is most important. The voice of one's center, that is very, very important. How, by way of also contributing our own, whatever that we are, whatever that we have, but yet how we can actually integrate different systems of the world. The question is for you, Anitha.
Yes, thank you. Yes, it's a really important question as part of what I do in looking at business and shifting from the whole notion of I'm just responsible for the shareholders and whatever I do doesn't matter. It's a sense of, again, that separation that we spoke about before. So part of what needs to occur is, first of all, to have empathy, a humility. So, because I could end up actually flaming that separation, causing it bigger if I don't look at myself and my way of being. So as I grew up, as I know, much is rewarded in this earthly world on human doing, and we forget we're human being. And when we realize that we're human beings, and we really embrace that in ourselves, that's what starts to come forward. So those who feel separated, feel like they're being talked down to, that I have to hold on to this because if I don't hold on to this, then I'll evaporate. That all dissipates. That is allowed. I've seen this in institutions where people, even inside the same organization, wouldn't talk to each other, would fight each other. That when then you'd be able to bring in this wisdom, this understanding, and this listening, this ability to really listen, because listening is something. It's not the absence of. And when they do, then they begin to be able to listen to what's in their heart. And that's really, I think, one of the big pieces. Is there an answer? Dr. Yugandhar, I wish there was one answer, but I also know in this amazing hoop of life, that which you just asked of me, there is no one answer. There's the humility to know that it is the weaving and the understanding and being the human beings that we're meant to be. And then from that will come the doing of supporting and being part of this beautiful hoop. And the last piece I want to add to that before you have others is to remember in that humility, it's not only us two-leggeds. So it is the ancestors who've already been and those to come, but it is these plants, this earth, the water, all these, the light, which you were talking about, Star, the Mayan, we're in the time of light. We open our hearts with humility to all of this that we are part of. And even in spite of all the horrors and challenges and all the facts to the contrary, it becomes impossible when you are being this to not also feel compelled to be a life giver, to continue to expand. That's what's happening.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Anitha. All your doing, all the stemming of doing need to be rooted from beingness. While being is the root, the doing is the shoot. So the being and doing.
I love it.
So we need to be rooted first to germinate into
Yes.
something called as doing, the tree of life, as Star has been
Yes.
saying, the tree of life. Yeah. Yes, Harrison. What would you like to comment on this? How would you like to comment on this?
What is the question again, please?
Not a question, your inputs on what Anitha has said, the being and doingness, and how we can actually combine and awaken the people from your perspective.
Okay, well, I think that there are many different things that contribute to awakening. One is the understanding of the laws of the universe and how things work. Once we begin to understand that laws have consequences, that we have karmic experiences, that we have emotional connections, that we have judgments and then loss of judgments, and the loss of judgment is the beginning of love. The understanding of how things work contribute to the whole understanding of the mind and the connection between minds and humanity. So this allowing things to be as they are is more potent than any kind of separation or adversity. The allowing is what gives people comfort to be who they are. And when they become who they are, they transcend into a higher space, into a more generous being, into there's an unfolding of joy and love and connection to all things. We transcend into different realms and alternative realities, not just this dimension, but many dimensions. There are many things we can do, but to bring people together, I think there's two things that are really important, is to understand the words I am. One is the words I am, and that is the governing of all energy. I am as the governance of all energy. Whatever you attach the words I am become the signal to the universe to take that to completion. So I am happy, I am sad, I am poor, I am wealthy, I am fun, I am dull, whatever the case may be. Whatever you attach the words I am are a energy signal to take that to completion. So once we identify, that's the first step below the overall being, and that identification then brings realities in. So once we get to use that, that becomes a direct path to opening ourselves up. Then the other part is to release all judgment. So allowing people to be who they are without criticism of who they are becomes a significant connector between people, because they have they feel heard. They feel heard, like Anita said. They feel accepted. They feel loved, and that then allows them to release all their emotional traumas or their other kinds of things. When you're in love with somebody, one of the things that happen is that all your crap comes up. So when you begin to be with other people, so because it allows them to be comfortable with you, they can expose the dark parts of themselves, and in exposing the dark parts of themselves, they can release it. It's not suppression any longer. So that opens them up to a next level as well. So the other part is, I think there's only three ways to God. Everything is a derivative of that: truth, love, or beauty. And if you focus on truth, love, or beauty as a dominant state of mind, whichever is your choice, and whatever form you take of that, that helps to increase your energy dramatically, because that perspective allows a great deal of unfolding within you to the place of where there is little to no self and connected to all selves. Does that help?
Yeah, nice, very nice. Harrison, a small idea was coming into my mind when you were talking about I am, because I think these are the most favorite words for you, as far as understand. So what I'm trying to say is, the I-ness has to transform into amness.
Yes. So, yeah, so the I is the perspective of all things, the M is the existence of all things. So
Yeah.
when you recognize the Mness, you're recognizing the existence of all things. There is no separation. So awakening is imminent.
Yeah.
And I think awakening is inevitable for the planet
Yeah.
at this point because of everything that's going on. Everyone is beginning to experience other people who are awake. And so that freedom, that inner freedom that we connect with and we love about other people is what opens us up to something even greater and more significant than who we are, to allow ourselves to just have that inner freedom. And then your inner freedom wakens you up. Carl Jung said, he who looks outside is successful. He who looks inwardly awakes. So I believe that, and I use that to the best of my ability.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. The I-ness has to transform into easiness, or I-ness has to transform into amness, because I is a sin and sinistrality. I is the only sin. I is the only sinistrality. So amness is only truth. Easiness is only truth. So maybe meditation is a journey between I-ness to amness. Our silence is a journey between truth, is a journey between I-ness to amness. Okay. Anyway, thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you, Harrison.
Yeah.
So, any questions from your grandmother?
I just again want to say that I am sitting here just basking as though I was taking a bath in precious milk with all the wonderful things you guys have shared, with all the love. And it's so good to hear you again and know, Harrison, that you are well. And the wonderful people who have shared with us, you've all touched a place that needs to be first step out into the opening of realization that we're headed for. I ask all of you to support us, to make sure that you're with us through the rest of the program, as well as making sure that you help us with Africa and Asia. All of us, every one of us is needed, and every one of you have the ingredient that makes the perfect harmony and love that we're experiencing. So blessings for your journey, and thank you for being with us.
Thank you very much, grandmother. Thank you. So